So guys, and how you doing today? And I am welcoming you to another brand new and informative time with us here at Chidav Agricultural Hub. Today we are going to be taking you through all you need to know as regards the plantain sucker and the propagating material for your plantain. So I'm going to be breaking down in detail every single thing you need to know as regards trying to understand the best plantain suckers to cultivate, trying to understand how to identify the healthy plantain suckers and the non-healthy one, make you understand the reasons why you have to treat your suckers or your plantain corn before you cultivate. So basically, I'm going to be taking you through, bringing you to the understanding of all you need to know as regards your plantain suckers, what you need to do before you cultivate on your field. So guys, the quality of the yield you get at the end of the day starts from the quality of the suckers you get to cultivate. Anthony David is my name, and I am going to be taking you into this awesome and informative video. Go nowhere, guys. Peace. So, guys, I know the next question you probably are asking right about now is what are plantain suckers? Because we'll firstly need to understand what plantain suckers are, then before we then dive into understanding other parts of a plantain sucker. So I'm definitely going to give you a closer view of what a plantain sucker is. This is the offshoot, okay, or a young shoot or the offshoot from the parent, which usually grows from the base of the plantain. And so this is the sucker, all right, and this is the one we refer to as the sod sucker. That is what you basically need to understand as regards the plantain sucker, which is an offshoot of the mother plantain, which grows from the base of the parent plant. So stay glued, guys. We'll dive in further. The next question you want to ask is how many types of suckers do we have? Because you basically need to understand the type of suckers that we have in order to understand what to demand for when you are about getting your suckers. We have basically two types of suckers. We have one, the salt sucker, and two, we have the water sucker. So why is one called a salt sucker and then why is one called a water sucker? Then how do you differentiate between a salt sucker and a water sucker? It is pretty simple. Salt suckers are usually those suckers found growing from the base of the parent plant in areas that are usually very well drained, very good soil, and from parent plants that have very good growing pattern are suckers that have well established stems. They are always very firm, and the short sucker is the most suitable type of sucker when you actually want to propagate. They grow very vigorously. Plantains don't usually do well in waterlogged areas. Now, this is it. This is it. When you take your short sucker or a sucker that is doing so well out of a well-drained area and then you take it to a waterlogged area, after a while they would adapt their growth pattern to conform to what is attainable from that soil that is waterlogged, so they won't do very well. So at the end of the day, the suckers they will produce would be very stressed. Let me put it this way: water suckers are very stressed suckers, and when you cultivate such suckers, you don't get quality yield at the end of the day. So in terms of quality of the yield, to the quality you get from cultivating a salt sucker is way higher than the quality of the fruit you get at the end of the day from cultivating a very weak sucker we refer to as the water sucker. So again, when it comes to disease resistance, the salt sucker are way resistant to disease and pest compared to the already weak or very flabby in terms of the stem of a water sucker. So that is why you should go for a salt sucker instead of going for a water sucker, because the salt sucker one has better growth rate compared to the water sucker, has a firmer stem, meaning wouldn't have issues of lodging when you cultivate a sod sucker, then the yield percentage compared to the water sucker is the difference is so clear, and you want to cultivate suckers that would give you quality yield at the end of the day. Right now, we are then going to go into understanding the various parts of a plantain plant and then also understand the most important part of a plantain plant, and then we also are going to be understanding how to even identify quality plantain suckers. And then when you want to make your purchase, you know what to look out for and you know what to demand from whoever is supplying you plantain sucker. But then you need not to worry much, because if it's coming from us, Chidav Agricultural Hub, you can be rest assured you are getting quality. So guys, stay glued as we dive into this video that is super packed with information that you really want to know about. The next thing I'm going to be showing you is how to go about with uprooting the daughter sucker, because this is actually a daughter sucker and this is the parent sucker. So this is a daughter sucker. So, and this is another daughter sucker. So it has two daughter suckers. Usually the less vigorous ones are the ones you uproot. How do I mean? You uproot the one that is, you don't uproot the one that is next to the mother sucker, because this is the one that will take over the parent sucker when you get to harvest this. So this daughter sucker takes over the parent sucker. So we are going to be uprooting the second daughter sucker from the mother plant, and I am going to be showing you how to go about with the uprooting of the sucker. However, I'm going to be showing you the different parts of a plantain plant so that you understand the different parts and then the various functions of each of these parts. So stay glued, because it's really going to be informative. So guys, we are going to be talking about the different parts of a sucker. So like I said, this is an example of a sod sucker. Okay, so this is the corm, and I personally regard the corm as the most important part of your plantain sucker. You saw the way it was taken out of the parent plant. Okay, and usually why we treat is because so that this part, which was a part of detachment from the parent plant, will be treated and prevent any infestation of diseases or insect from infesting on the corm. Because like I said, the corm is the most important part of the plantain plant. So this is the corm, this is the stem. So we'll call it a pseudo stem because of the nature of the stem. It is majorly composed of water, so that's why it's referred to as a pseudostem. And this is the leaf, like we have here. This very sucker just started developing its leaves, and that is how the growth pattern firstly develops a very vibrant stem, and then it begins to develop its leaves. So it is still developing its leaves. So right here, all you need when you want to cultivate is really the corm, and you don't necessarily need to have the pseudostem as part of the planting material you are going to be cultivating. All you need is the corm, because it is from this corm that new suckers will get to emerge. And this is an example of another sucker trying to emerge from the corm. It won't emerge from the pseudostem, but rather from the corm, because the corm has houses the roots, and then it is through the root hair that the nutrients available around the root zone is absorbed into the plant. So I'm going to show you a typical example of what you would get when you purchase suckers from us. So hold on. So as we can see, this is an already harvested sucker, and this is the corm. All right. So like I said, what is most important is the corm and not the pseudostem. This is basically what you get. All right. So this is the corm, as you can see. This is what is most important. This is what you cultivate. This is what you treat. All right. You can also plant alongside the pseudostem, but it's not all necessary because in most cases the pseudostem get to decay. Yes, and then the new suckers get to develop from the corm. All right. That is why you have to take proper care of your corm. You treat your corm or your suckers properly in your solution of insecticide and fungicide and ensure that this treatment is properly done, and then you get to dry for a couple of hours. You allow the suckers to, you spread them out, you allow them to dry for a couple of hours, and then you take them to the field, and then you cultivate, and then you are good. So right now I'm going to be taking you through how to go about with identifying if your corm is healthy or your corm is diseased, and the reasons why we get to actually treat corm. So stay glued, go nowhere, because there's a whole lot for you to learn. For the treatment, we are going to be using a combination of fungicide and insecticide for the treatment. And usually people have always reached out, what are the brands? Sorry, we do not recommend brand. Just go to any of your agrochemical shop, tell them you need potent fungicide or a potent insecticide. If you want me to recommend to you brand you should get, then you should book a session, and then let's talk about the best brand and globally accepted brands or brands of fungicide, insecticide, or nematicide for use. Okay. However, we do not use any of the brands we choose to use outside the recommended rate. Okay. We ensure that we follow the rate, and we make sure that because usually a lot of persons have called say, why don't you use wood ash and all of that? Well, for the scale we operate or we run, wood ash would not be efficient, it won't be effective, because we are talking about several thousands of suckers, and then you want to treat, you know the size or the quantity of wood ash you would need to treat over 8,000 suckers, or in situation where we do over 20,000 suckers. So it won't be effective, okay? And wood ash is not as effective as the chemicals actually. Okay, so but the beauty is we are guided. We don't just use rates which would eventually become harmful. And guys, this is it. We follow global gap recommendations for any of the chemicals we use. And the beauty also is for each of these chemicals, there's always a recommendation rate that you use by the manufacturers, and all these have been tested to see that they are healthy and do not compromise human health. And of course, we are always so particular about ensuring that we do agriculture the right way and in an environmentally friendly way also. So all these things are put into consideration. Guys, for commercial farm, it is totally different from when you are cultivating just few hundreds of suckers. It's a totally different ball game. You might not be able to understand what we are actually talking about till you get to the field and then have a physical experience of what a commercial scale agriculture really entails, and then what is required. So it's extremely difficult for you to do organic commercially. As much as we can, we try to incorporate a lot of organics into what we do. For the manual application, we make use of animal dungs, and this is a way of ensuring that we try to, have a bit of organics as much as we can. So guys, stay glued as we go into the treatment proper. Peace. Guys, we are going to be talking a little bit about how to identify very quality suckers at the end of the day. Now, how do you identify a quality sucker? You can only identify if your sucker is healthy or if it is diseased when you open up the corm. Now, this is the corm, and this is the base root of your plantain plant. So this is where what really keeps the plantain alive. This is where the plantain roots develop from. Okay, and this is the major propagating material of your plantain. Okay, this is the corm, and if you plant a healthy corm, at the end of the day you get a healthy plantain plant. And if you plant an unhealthy corm, you then are also going to get an unhealthy plantain plant at the end of the day. So you want to ensure that you are cultivating a healthy corm. So this demonstration I'm going to be showing you is just a demonstration to show you how to identify if the corm is healthy or if it is diseased. The first thing you want to do is split open. Okay, now after we split open, you have to pay attention to the corm. All right, like we have here, it is purely white. So if you split open and then you discover that your corm have a bit of black spots, or you have this whole place turn really black, it simply means that looking, or you have the whole of this inside of the corm looking really black, it means it has been infested and it is disease. You do not want to cultivate corms that are already infested. So at this point you can see that everything here is white. So it simply means this corm is disease free, and when you cultivate this corm, it is going to produce a very healthy plantain at the end of the day. So pay attention closely. Okay, look at, I told you we sell very healthy sucker. They are looking very white. Okay, so the reason, after doing this, the next thing I am going to do to ensure that I don't have any infestation is to treat this against fungi and insect attack, and also I am going to be treating the soil against fungicide so that I do not have a situation where this cut surface is infested by a fungi. That is why I am going to be treating this after I'm done cutting. But I need you to focus on how I am doing the splitting. So I split into two equal halves. That treating, you want to allow it to dry a little bit so that every of the cut surface will be properly dried before you then take them to the field and cultivate. All right. So pay attention to this. There's already an infestation going on by a boring insect. Okay, by a boring insect, and that is the main reason why you have to always treat your suckers before you take them to the field to cultivate. So these are examples of boring insect. So you want to treat them so that you have them killed. All right, you have this boring insect killed, and they do not stand a chance and start and continue infesting these suckers, which would lead to the damage of the sucker. So you don't want any of this to happen. So all you have to do for your quality hybrid suckers, and the variety we sell is the elephant giant variety. All you need to do real quick is to send us a WhatsApp message to the number appearing on your screen right about now, or you should send us an email. Go to the description of this video, you'll find an email. Send us an email. Your location is never a challenge. We supply to every single location in the country, and in some cases outside the country. So all you need to do real quick, send us a DM and place your order for this year's planting season. The planting season is here, and you should begin to place your orders. Remember, it is first come, first served. So the earlier you begin to place your orders, the faster we'll be able to process your orders and have it supplied to you. But just in few days, you get it at your field location. Also, for your commercial plantain farm setup, you want your plantain field to be set up professionally. All you need to do real quick is to send us a WhatsApp message or send us an email. You find the email in the description of this video, also note this: you should have a management in place before you contact us to come set up your field. Because of our engagement, we do not move labors from one location to another. You should have a management in place, and you should also have labor in place. If you do not have labor, your community should be a community where we can easily source for labor that we are going to be working with during the field setup. We do not at this moment move our laborers from location to location, but then it's actually an advantage to you as a farm owner, because in the process of the setup, we are going to be coaching or training your workers and also your management team on how to professionally set up commercial plantain field. Okay, the right way. We are going to be teaching them the field mapping. We are also going to be showing them how to, basically carry out plantain setup professionally, following all agronomic practices. Okay, so send in your message, your setup request, and you should do that as quickly as possible. As always, it is first come, first served. Peace, guys.